Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Red Dead Online and we're doing another outfit guide. And today is a much requested one a lot of people have just been asking for people from the TV show Bonanza. And so I decided to start out with probably my favorite character, that being Hoss Cartwright, the biggest of the Cartwright brothers. So that's who we're going to be recreating today. And if you've never seen the TV show Bonanza, I find that hard to believe. It's literally on TV rerunning all the time, and also it went on for a long time. Plus, between the two popular Western TV shows of the time, that being Bonanza and Gunsmoke, Bonanza is much better than Gunsmoke in my opinion. Just a much more entertaining show as a whole, even though they're very similar in a lot of ways. So, like I said, we're going to be recreating Hoss in today's episode, so as usual, we're going to start off with weapons. So, for the gun for Hoss, now he obviously uses different guns at different times throughout the show. You'll see him using shotguns, repeaters, rifles, various different pistols, but the one that he has in basically every episode, because it's the revolver that he uses all the time, is a Colt single-action army revolver with the long barrel. So the cavalry variant, not quite as long as it could be, but this, how I've got it on screen right now with the long barrel, is pretty dang accurate and close to the one that he wears in the show. So we're going to go with the long barrel, the improved sights, improved rifling. I put the pearl grip on it. Now his in the show is either simulated ivory, or some sort of bone or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's just ivory though. Now obviously we don't have an ivory grip option, but what we do have is the pearl option, which is decently close and probably as close as we can currently come. Hopefully eventually they add an ivory grip, but for now they don't. That is the grip that I went with, and then like I said, long barrel, all the other stuff improved. No carvings in the grip, no engravings on any part of the gun. And then there are basically two ways to go, because it's kind of hard to tell exactly what the gun looks like, because in different episodes it looks slightly different. I think it's just because of like the lighting and stuff, but it either is nickel plated or more likely I think it is supposed to be like a really worn down blued look, because I was looking at it's currently, his gun is at the Cody Museum in Cody, Wyoming, and it's there with his gun belt that he wore in the show, or at least they're very good replicas of what he wore in the show, because it looks exactly like it did from the TV show. And in that one, it looks like it's more like this. So, like I said, you could either go with the nickel-plated or this one, but I think the all-brown steel for the trigger, sight, hammer, frame, cylinder, and barrel actually looks more like it did in the show. I can just show you for comparison. This is what it looks like all nickel-plated. I think that would also work, but I think it doesn't look as good as it does as the brown steel. I think the brown steel looks a lot more like it does in the show. So that is the gun we're going to be going with. Now, like I said, you can see that he uses a Winchester repeating rifle several times throughout the show, or multiple times, I should say, not several, because it happens lots of times. And at times he's holding a shotgun and stuff like that. But the gun that is most closely associated with Hoss Cartwright is going to be a Colt single-action army revolver that looks exactly like this. So that is the gun for this outfit. Let's move on to the outfit itself. So this is the outfit as best as I could come up with it. Now, for hair and facial hair, I just went with a medium-length haircut with lighter brown hair, because that's what he's got in the show. And then I did no facial hair because he's clean-shaven. I did keep the stubble on because I think it helps you look a little bit less like a literal infant, so it helps better. Now, obviously, the body type I have in here and such doesn't really lend itself to looking like Hoss Cartwright, because he was kind of a bigger, you'd almost call him fat guy, but he was clearly supposed to be just a real big guy. So if you were designing this from the start and you really wanted to look like Hoss, then you would use the more brawny body type instead of, I think I have the athletic one on here. You'd want to look bigger. You don't want to look like obese, but he was very brawny, like a big boned, kind of thick kind of guy. And so that also would affect the face and everything. So as far as the body and everything looks, I don't look much like Hoss here, but if you have the thin or athletic build, this is probably as close as you can come. But with that in mind, I think the rest of the outfit looks really good. So let's go through it one item at a time. So for the hat, I went with this light tan variant of the Liberty hat, and now the shape and style and size of this hat is perfect. It looks exactly like the hat he wears in the show. In fact, I would guess that that's probably what they styled it off of. I know that there's obviously other famous Western characters that wear a hat that looks almost exactly like this, but this looks perfect, like 1-to-1 for Hoss's hat from Bonanza. The only problem is his hat in Bonanza is really light. It's lighter than this. His in the show looks like it's almost white, maybe just like a cream color or slightly off-white. But this is the lightest variant of the Liberty hat in the game, so that's why I used this one. If they added a lighter one, that would obviously be the better option. But as far as it goes, this is currently the best option in the game if you want to look like his hat from the show. Then for the vest, there are, I would say, two options that work pretty well. The one I decided to go with, because I think it looks better, is this variant of the Lancer vest. It's kind of like yellowish orangish, and so it matches the one he wears in the show pretty well. Obviously, a problem being that he always wears his unbuttoned in the show, and we can't do that in the game, so that kind of sucks. It would look much more like him if he could wear the vest open, especially on the brawny body type, but we can't, so we'll just have to imagine that one day Haas buttoned up his vest. So this variant of the Lancer vest is the first option and the one that I think looks better, but there is one other vest that works pretty well, and that option is this variant of the traditional vest. Now this one, in the show, I don't think he's wearing a leather vest, so that's why this one, some people might like it better. It's obviously a lot more wore down and looks like crap, and his doesn't look like that in the show, but this one is close to being the right color, and it's the right material, so really it's between those two vests, whichever one you like more, but those are the two options for vests for Haas's outfit. Now the shirt is another thing that's going to come down a lot to personal choice, because if you just do a Google search for Haas Cartwright, you're going to see various different shirts. I think he wears white probably the most often, but he wears white, he wears gray. I've seen some where he's got like a real light blue look, lighter red look, somewhere it's kind of a darker grayish blue look. Like, he wears lots of shirts throughout the show, which makes sense because the show went on for a long time and he wouldn't always wear the exact same shirt. But I think that he wears white the most often, and that it just looks the best with the outfit as a whole. And he almost always wears it with the sleeves rolled up and the collar open. Not always, sometimes the sleeves are all the way down, but the collar at least is usually open, except for when it was supposed to be like a colder weather episode. This is probably the best option. So the white everyday shirt with the sleeves rolled up and the collar open works really, really well. Another option is the row barrow shirt. Now for this one, obviously you had to get it with the quick draw pass too, so if you didn't get the shirt then, it's not available to you now, but this one looks real unique. You can see it's actually 2 layers, so it's got the shirt on top and the kind of long underwear underneath. Now I think the open collar for this one goes down too far to be Haas, so that's what it looks like just with the collar open, the vest on, and the sleeves rolled up. Again, I think that looks pretty good for Haas, but if you close the collar, I don't think that looks good, so you kind of got to keep the collar open. But if you unroll the sleeves, you can see that it keeps the top layer rolled up and the bottom layer down. So either way, that looks pretty good for Haas. In fact, I might even like the row barrow shirt better than I like the everyday shirt now that I look at it again. So yeah, either one of those is going to be a great option. So for the weapon equipment, the black embossed gunslinger gun belt is actually just about perfect, because the gun belt he wears in the show appears to be black or really, really dark brown, and it is embossed all over like this, all over the holster and the entire belt. The only difference being the buckle on his, it looks almost exactly like this, but instead of being silver like this one is, his is like a dark brass kind of look to it. So this gun belt is absolutely perfect. It looks exactly like Haas's gun belt from the show. So that is the way to go. Obviously, he does not use 2 guns. He only has 1 gun, so an offhand holster would be inappropriate for this outfit. Then for the pants, I wasn't able to find an exactly perfect option, but I think the brown variant of the Cabrera pants probably looks the best out of everything, and I tried literally every pair of pants that are currently available in the game. I tested them one at a time, and none of them matched it as well as this one, because they're not real loose and saggy. They look like normal pants, and they're brown. They're a little bit lighter than this, kind of like a reddish brown almost, but this was the best option I could find, especially contrasting against the vest. So that's why I went with the brown variant of the Cabrera pants. Then for the boots, I went with the clean black variant of the Warren Roper's boots. Again, he wears multiple different boots throughout the entire series. Sometimes they're dark brown, usually they're black, but they almost always look like these ones, with pointed toes and not a bunch of decorations. I'd never found any where he was wearing any sort of frill on his boots or studs or any other sort of ornamentation. So I think these ones definitely work the best, and I didn't find any pictures of him wearing the boots on the outside of his pants, so I can assume that he pretty much exclusively wore the pants over his boots. And then, like usual, it's always hard to find pictures of people's feet from shows like this, but I didn't find any where he was wearing spurs. I would imagine he probably wore some at some point during the show, but not necessarily. I was also able to find some pictures where he was wearing a modern wristwatch while he was in the show, so that's pretty entertaining considering that certainly wouldn't have existed when the show takes place. But in any case, I think this outfit looks pretty dang good. It looks real close to what he looks like in the show. Obviously, the biggest change being that the vest can't be opened. If you could open up the vest, and obviously if I had the brawny body type, I think you'd agree that it looks basically exactly the same as Haas Cartwright from Bonanza. But in any case, that's where we're going to end today's video, and because Haas wasn't really known for his shooting violence, we're just going to end it with some good old-fashioned big Haas style fist fighting. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, definitely leave a like rating on it to show me and YouTube and anyone else that's considering watching it that it's a fantastic video, well worth checking out, because it A, helps me in the algorithm, and B, is just a real nice thing to do, and it's a great way to support people without spending any money or doing anything difficult on your part. I suppose I can't punch the poker people. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or more importantly, any like recommendations, anything that you'd like to see me do or anything like that, definitely leave that down in the comments section below, because again, it's going to help me out in the algorithm, and B, it is the best way to share your opinion so that other people can either agree with you or fight with you, because it's very, very important that their opinion is shown above all else. And of course, if you haven't already and you enjoy my content, I definitely invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. That way you can stay up to date on all of my content as I release it, and if you like this, you'll probably like that, because my content is pretty dang consistent. And of course, again, like the other things, you'll be helping me out in the algorithm. So with all that in mind, just thanks a ton for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it entertaining, or at least useful, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.